Tonight on To The Point. Controversy at the state capitol. What's next for California reparations after bills were dropped in the final hours of the legislative session?
Wrapping up this Labor Day with fire concerns continuing in the Sierra, quickly turning our attention to those 100s around the corner.
Protests in Israel calling for a ceasefire. A California-born man is among 6 hostages Israel says Hamas shot dead. And thousands of hotel workers now striking. The city's impacted in California and what this group is calling for.
This is To The Point, and I'm Alex Bell. We start tonight with controversy at the state capitol. State lawmakers wrapped up their legislative year over the weekend, but it was not without protest over the state's landmark reparations bill. 2 bills did not get a final vote. ABC 10's Becca Habegger joins us in studio with what happened and what could come next.
You know, Alex, many supporters of reparations for Californians who are descendants of chattel slavery in the U.S. feel outraged tonight. That's after Assembly members refused to bring to a vote on Saturday 2 bills that would have created the infrastructure for meaningful reparations.
Supporters of reparations gathered at the Capitol Saturday in support of 2 key bills by Senator Stephen Bradford, who sat on the California Reparations Task Force. The task force met over the course of 2 years, hearing from the public and experts on the long-lasting effects of chattel slavery on Black Americans. Last summer, members published their final report of more than 1,000 pages and more than 100 recommendations.
We're 160 years overdue for this.
On Saturday, Senator Bradford hoped his Assembly colleagues would put his 2 key reparations bills up for a vote. Senate Bill 1403 would have created the California American Freedmen Affairs Agency, tasked with implementing reparations and determining eligibility. Senate Bill 1331 would have established the Fund for Reparations and Reparative Justice to eventually pay for the various forms of reparations. Neither of these bills included cash payments for recipients of reparations, and neither of these bills went up for a vote in the final hours of the legislative session, effectively killing them for the year.
We owe it to our ancestors, and I think we disappointed them in a way by at least not having the floor vote and letting the people decide, let the legislators decide whether it should have gone to the governor's desk versus holding the bills.
This session, the California Legislative Black Caucus published a list of 14 bills as part of its reparations package. But Bradford's 2 bills that brought supporters out on Saturday were not among the 14. In a statement, the caucus wrote, in part, members have chosen to concentrate our collective energy on the legislative priorities that the entire caucus has voted on and those that positively impact Black Californians. We remain committed to our long-term goals and recognize that this is a multi-year effort. 9 of the caucus's 14 priority bills passed the legislature, including a formal apology from the state for human rights violations and crimes against humanity on African slaves and their descendants.
An apology is not reparations. Nobody can't eat no apology. Nobody can pay their rent with no apology.
Chris Lodgson with the Coalition for a Just and Equitable California says he is outraged the California Legislative Black Caucus didn't bring Senator Bradford's 2 bills up for votes.
It's disrespectful and it's disgusting. I consider it a betrayal of the people.
And Becca, from what we are hearing, there are plans to try again next session, right?
That's right. Yeah, Alex, you know, supporters of Bradford's 2 bills say they're going to fight for this next year, though Senator Bradford is now termed out and no longer able to serve. One of the reparations bills the California Legislative Black Caucus passed is actually something you'll see on your ballot, now called Proposition 6. It would change the wording of the California Constitution, which currently outlaws all forms of slavery except for the involuntary servitude of inmates.
All right, Becca, thank you for the update. And you know, we will keep you updated at home. All right, tonight it remains unclear if the state legislature will return to Sacramento for a special session on oil and gas. Governor Gavin Newsom called the legislature into a special session after lawmakers rejected his proposal on big oil to maintain stable inventory. And in a statement on Saturday, the governor said in part, quote, "It should be common sense for gas refineries to plan ahead and backfill supplies when they go down for maintenance to avoid price spikes. But these price spikes are actually profit spikes for big oil." And calling the session now allows the legislature to begin that work immediately so that the state can resolve this important matter to establish the necessary rules to prevent price spikes next year and beyond. And the leader of the Senate, Mike McGuire, responded saying in part, quote, "We won't be convening a special session, but we look forward to continuing conversations with the governor and speaker about this critical issue in the days and weeks to come." In other news tonight, it's the worst firework injury Sacramento City firefighters say that they have ever seen. A man in his 20s is in the hospital in critical condition tonight after a firework blew up while he was holding it. And this happened at Rose Street and Vinci Avenue in North Sacramento. You can also see that it caused a half-acre grass fire. Sacramento Fire says that the man grabbed the fireworks from a field just feet away from several homes.
When they arrived, they noticed the victim with severe injuries to his hands as well as chest. The brother reported that they were camping out here when in the nighttime they saw a firework fall from the sky. The brother then went out and grabbed this firework and tried to relight this firework in his hands.
The fire department says if you are dealing with illegal fireworks in your community, you can report it on the fire department app, or you can also call their arson tip line. New details in the Ricky Pearsall shooting. The 49ers wide receiver's mother says that he was shot in the chest and the bullet exited through his back during an attempted robbery in Union Square over the weekend. The suspect is a 17-year-old from Tracy, and doctors say this is a very high-risk injury. Though the way that he was shot, they say the recovery might be weeks versus many months. And tonight, protesters in Israel are calling for a Gaza ceasefire. Thousands crowded Tel Aviv overnight. City workers started a general strike, shutting down Israel's main airport, along with some banks and other businesses. And it comes after Israel says Hamas shot and killed 6 hostages in Gaza. One of those hostages is Hirsch Goldberg Poland, who was born in the Bay Area. And Hirsch was an Israeli American originally from Berkeley that was taken hostage during the October 7th attacks. Tonight, Lena Howland has more from his funeral in Jerusalem today and how his Bay Area community is mourning him.
I'm sorry. Hirsch, we failed you. We all failed you.
A tearful apology from John Poland, the father of Berkeley native Hirsch Goldberg Poland. 329 days after Hirsch was taken hostage at a music festival in Gaza during the October 7th attacks, Hirsch was one of 6 hostages found dead in Gaza on Saturday. 3 of the 6 hostages, including Hirsch, were reportedly scheduled to be released in the first phase of a ceasefire proposal discussed in July. Instead, he was laid to rest at a Jerusalem cemetery on Monday while tens of thousands came to pay their respects, including his parents.
Okay, sweet boy, go now on your journey. I hope it's as good as the trips you dreamed about, because finally, my sweet boy, finally, you're free.
His parents, Rachel and John, have led a high-profile campaign to bring their son home. Less than 2 weeks ago, his parents took the stage at the Democratic National Convention.
It's really a gut punch that call to bring Hirsch home ended in failure, and we're all in mourning right now.
Tyler Gregory is the CEO of the Jewish Community Relations Council and was there in Chicago for Hirsch's parents' speech.
What we need to remember is an American hostage was murdered. We all need to advocate for our representatives and our government to do everything they can diplomatically, militarily, to bring the remaining hostages home alive.
Sunday night, amid many tears and prayers, hundreds gathered at the congregation Beth Israel in Berkeley to mourn the loss of all 6 hostages killed. On Monday night, Gregory will join other Jewish community members and allies for a candlelight vigil in San Francisco. There are still 101 hostages remaining in Gaza, including 7 Americans.
That was Lena Howland reporting. In Gaza City today, at least 3 people were killed in an Israeli strike on a car, and Hamas says that 48 Palestinians have been killed in the past day alone. Israel's prime minister and the head of Hamas's negotiation team blame each other for failing to reach a ceasefire. Still ahead onto the point, the Cal Fire's new ex-Coast Guard planes joining their first firefight.
Still tracking some high fire danger in the Sierra. Cooler than average temperatures for most of us on this Labor Day, but a big warm up ahead.
And later, thousands of hotel workers walking off the job. The California hotels this impacts. We're tracking a wildfire tonight in Sierra County. The Bear Fire is causing evacuation orders for the west side of the community of Sierra Brooks. It has burned nearly 200 acres now. Let's get over to Chief Meteorologist Monica Woods here because it is getting hotter. The fire danger is there. You're tracking some weather impact alert days as well.
That's right, because of the heat that's going to be building in the forecast. So on the heels of this fire danger, we quickly turn our attention into those weather impact alert days. We're just closing up the last hour and a half or so of this red flag warning. That will expire at 8 o'clock for tonight due to the gusty winds, low humidity, and we've already seen the impacts of the rapid fire spread. Peak wind gusts in the Sierra close to about 40 miles per hour, closer to about 15 to 20 miles per hour in the valley, and over towards the coast, it was about 30 to 35 mile per hour peak wind gusts. Still have that light breeze coming in from the Pacific. That's going to keep us with a mild night ahead. But then it's a quick warm up. Heat advisory in place Wednesday through Friday with highs about 100 to 105. So that's going to be our headlines for our weather impact alert. When Wednesday through Friday, the impact being temperatures near 105. Well, we're going to need shade, hydration. You know the drill by now, as we've dealt with this numerous times over the summer season. We're just in the final hours, though, of our Labor Day, and temperatures for tonight are going to cool into the upper 50s. It's a quick warm up ahead, though. We're back into near 100-degree heat by tomorrow due to this high pressure ridge. And then as that starts to move its way eastward, we'll start to look at the risk of thunderstorms in the Sierra, once again elevating the fire danger. Highs tomorrow close to 80 for the high country, 90s to near 100 for the foothills, with 80s across the coast. We're seeing 90s and 100s throughout the valley as soon as tomorrow. 5-day regional forecast, there's that risk of thunderstorms Friday and Saturday. We'll be tracking that. Highs near 100 for the foothills, and then for the coast, we'll see highs close to 80, dropping into the 60s by the time we get into the weekend. 3-day forecast, the first 2 days of our weather impact alert up there, but that extends through Friday in the 7-day forecast. And for the 10-day forecast, that's when we see a bit better relief by the middle of next week.
Next on To the Point, where and why thousands of hotel workers are on strike, plus new details tonight, a crash in vice presidential candidate Tim Walz's motorcade. Thousands of hotel workers are on strike. Some seen outside this Boston hotel could be heard saying, if we don't get it, shut it down. The strike is expected to grow over the next couple of days and is already estimated to involve about 10,000 employees from Hyatt to Hilton, Marriott, and Omni hotels. Workers say they want better wages, health insurance, and a pension.
We have a lot of people that are just living check to check. We're asking for a $10 raise, and even with that $10 raise that we're asking for in the next 4 years, by inflation numbers, we would still be considered poor as a hotel worker.
And these workers, housekeepers, and other hospitality workers are part of the Unite Here union. Cities impacted in California include San Francisco and San Jose. Oakland could soon join that list, and hotel spokespeople say that they remain committed to negotiating in good faith to reach fair and reasonable agreements. Tonight in Your Voice, Your Vote, the Harris campaign used Labor Day to reach out to union workers in key battleground states. Former President Donald Trump shared a new campaign video with family members of soldiers killed in Afghanistan. ABC's Perry Russum reports tonight.
The Harris campaign on a Labor Day blitz with rallies in Wisconsin and Michigan.
Good afternoon, Detroit!
Vice President Kamala Harris making a push in the battleground states, reaching out to union workers, standing on stage in Detroit with labor leaders.
On Labor Day and every day, we celebrate the dignity of work. The dignity of work. We celebrate unions because unions helped build America, and unions help build America's middle class.
Harris also in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania today, campaigning with President Biden. It's their first official campaign event together since Biden dropped out of the race. After former President Trump's controversial visit to Arlington National Cemetery last week, where he was accused of political activities on cemetery grounds, Harris writing online, "It is not a place for politics."
Vice President Harris, I ask you, why won't you return a call?
Today, Trump posting this campaign video with family members of soldiers killed during the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan.
President Trump has called. President Trump shows up.
It comes as a new ABC News Ipsos poll finds Harris leads Trump 52-46 among likely voters. That is outside the margin of error.
Let's not pay too much attention to the polls. Let's know, like labor always does, we are out here running like we are the underdog in this race because we know what we are fighting for.
No campaign events today for former President Trump. In a statement today for Labor Day, Trump says the U.S. was an economic powerhouse when he was in office and claims Harris and Biden have undone all of that. Perry Russum, ABC News, Washington.
Today, vans in the back of Tim Walz's motorcade crashed on the highway while heading from the airport to a campaign stop in Milwaukee. Walz just spoke about the crash at his campaign event, saying staff members and members of the press were involved.
We've spoken with the staff. I'm relieved to say that with a few minor injuries, everybody's going to be okay. So, thank you. President Biden and Vice President Harris called to check in, and we certainly appreciate their concern.
ABC News reports a staff member broke their arm. And tonight we are verifying claims made about Kamala Harris's tax policies. Will the unrealized gains tax impact the average taxpayer? Verify reporter Casey Decker looked into it.
Vice President Kamala Harris has been facing questions about what her economic policies will be if she wins the presidential election. Harris has said she supports the policies recently proposed by President Biden in his 2025 budget. One of those policies includes a tax on something called unrealized gains. Some posts online claim that means if the value of your home goes up, you'd have to pay taxes on that increase, even if you don't sell it. We got numerous questions from viewers asking if that's true, so let's verify. Our sources: the 2025 White House budget proposal, the Treasury Department, the Henley & Partners USA Wealth Report, and the Tax Foundation. This tax would only apply to people with a net worth of at least $100 million. That's the top 0.01% of Americans, a bracket that includes less than 10,000 people. So we can verify, no, the Biden-Harris unrealized gains tax proposal does not mean ordinary Americans would have to pay a tax if the value of their home goes up. Biden's proposal would tax ultra-rich people at a rate of 25% of their total wealth. To determine that, they'd have to report the value of their assets to the IRS each year. With your Verify, I'm Casey Decker.
Thanks, Casey. And if you have a question about the upcoming election, let us know. We all know that the choices you have to make on your November ballot, they can be daunting, but we are here to help you. You can send us over your voter election questions on abc10.com/vote. There is a survey that you can fill out and submit your questions. We look forward to hearing from you. Next on To The Point, the Labor Day weekend attracting artists to downtown Sacramento. Check it out. Art took over the grid in Sacramento this Labor Day weekend. The annual Chalk It Up Festival was held in Fremont Park at 16th and P Streets. Thousands attend the fun and free festival, and it has been happening for more than 30 years. The organization behind the festival promotes and supports youth arts projects and programs. And then a building on R Street in downtown Sacramento became a canvas this weekend for dozens of graffiti artists. They showcased their skills at the Community Graffiti Jam. There were live demos, interactive experiences, and crafts for kids during this 3-day event. The theme was transformation consistent with embracing the community's vision for affordable housing. Artists say that it was a great opportunity to showcase their talent.
It's kind of mind-blowing for sure. Years ago would say no, that's not happening here. But for them to embrace it, it's actually it's welcoming.
And if you want to check out the art in person, that building is at 805 R Street in downtown Sacramento. As always, thank you so much for joining us and watching our show. We deeply appreciate it. And remember, if you have something that you think we should be looking into, all you have to do is just reach out to me and the team. You can email, call, or text us anytime at tothepoint@abc10.com. Have a great night. I'll see you right back here tomorrow. Hey, it's Alex. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. The To The Point team and I love hearing from you, and I hope that you'll stay in touch. And don't forget, you can always email me and the team at tothepoint@abc10.com, or you can even send us a text message at 916-321-3310.